Today, I'm going to tell you how to change the tube on your single-speed bicycle. Have you ever been stuck somewhere with a flat? I have a lot, and it's a pain in the butt, and I used to pay someone to fix it for me every time, and it started getting crazy expensive. And for about the cost of labor to fix it one time, you can get all the tools that you need to do it yourself. It's really easy on a single speed bike to change it because there's no gears. Even though the gears, it's still not that hard to change it, but a single speed, it just makes it a little easier, and that's all I'm going to explain to you today. There's little things on the road, like little seeds and stuff, that will get into your tire and puncture it. And so then you can either patch it or just buy a new tube. I would suggest just buying a new tube because the patch will probably just break on you anyway. So to remove the wheel, first you have to disengage the brake, otherwise it will catch on the tire when you try to pull it off. And it also helps to just let the air out because you're going to have to do it anyway in a minute. For the back tire on a single speed or a fixed gear, you just have to push the axle forward a little bit and slide the chain off, and then you just slide it right out. And then now that the tire is off the bike, you have to replace the tube. And this is actually the difficult and time-consuming part of doing this. You don't need a tire remover to remove a tire, but it makes it a lot easier. You can just do it with your fingers, but it kind of hurts them. So you just slide the tire remover under the little first edge of the tire and pull it to the outside. You then slide the little remover all the way around, pulling the little edge to the outside of the rim. And you do that all the way around. The other side will be really easy because the pressure is kind of already released, so you can kind of just pull it with your fingers. If you start on the other side of the valve, with a Presta valve, they often have this little screw lock, so you have to take that off. If you have the other kind of valve, it probably won't have a lock, and you can just slip it right out. Once you have the tube and tire removed from the bike, you remove the old tube, and then you either patch it or grab your new tube, which I'm not going to do because I'm just going to put this one back in. You have to put a little bit of air to get it to kind of snap back into the tire the way it should. So you just put a little tiny bit of air in it. You don't need too much. I'll often put the start of the tube right next to the label so that if I get a flat and there's some debris in there, I can find it very easily. I'll also, before I put the tube back in, slide my fingers all around the inside of the tube, because if something punctured your tire, it's probably still in there, and if you just put the new tube in, it'll just puncture it again. So you just slip it back in all the way around, and at the end, it'll seem like it kind of won't fit, and it'll want to twist and stuff. And you just got to make sure that it doesn't twist, and then it'll snap back in just snug. You want to let a little bit of the air back out, otherwise you won't be able to get it back onto the rim. Getting it back on is always the hardest part for me because the edge never wants to go back into place. So to put it back on, first you have to slide the tube back through the little hole, or the valve back through the little hole.
If it wants to.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to just pick a first edge to start. And this little lip is called the bead. And you'll feel when it snaps back in, when it wants to go in. And so you get the first edge on, which you can normally do mostly with your fingers. It helps to, if you have it in one section, to kind of massage it, and then it'll like loosen up. But you just keep forcing it in the way it's supposed to go. And once you have, yeah. So it gets a little tough at the end. And, oh, yeah. So you just get it to snap back in. You put your little locking screw thing back on the valve. And now you're ready to put it back on the bike. So to put it back on a single speed again, it's really easy. You just put it on the little notches, slide it up, put the chain on, and you have to make sure you pull it really tight. A lot of times I'll have to like sit down on the ground and put my feet kind of up in the frame to pull it hard enough. If you have a bike fixing stand, it makes it really easy. So yeah, make sure when you're putting the tire back on not to over tighten these screws, otherwise that you can stretch the threads and the bolts can loosen themselves and your wheel can fall off while you're riding. So now you know how to fix a tire on your single speed or fixed gear bike. I hope this has opened your eyes to how easy it is to maintain a bicycle.
Yay.